over on my Instagram. I did a little post, follow me there, it's mxmorphling as well, or mixmorphling, however you want to say it. So this person asked, what about dating and or going out, how people approach you in a different expression? So when it comes to going out, it's very different, like going on a night out and things. It's very different, or just going out and meeting people in public. And I think that's really what it's all about. I could go into a full detail of how I feel when I'm in the different sides and, you know, how I behave, which I will go into later. But I think the biggest change is how other people react with me and interact with me. So I remember when I first went on testosterone, and I remember the first time that someone called me like mate. And in Britain, oh my God, I said that's so British. In Britain, when you know, a guy says to another guy, "You're right, mate," it's kind of, you don't usually say that to people that you perceive as like a woman. And even though like it's just an odd thing, I don't know why, I just remember being so happy when I was first called that, and being like, oh my God, I passed as a guy now. It's like such a big thing, like for a trans man, I guess, in the UK, like the first time that you get called that. And usually, and yes, I know this isn't the case all the time, women, you know, people who are perceived as women don't get called that. I don't know what it is. It's a thing that like guys do to other guys. I don't know why it's specifically that, but it is. It's very different because I kind of pass as like a queer man rather than like a straight lad guy, which is a very different interaction with guys. So I can't really say what it would be like if I passed as like sort of straight lad type, but I mean on nights out it's very different how, for example, bouncers will interact with me. So like if I'm wearing a hat like this and I go into a club and I'm like masc like this, then a bouncer will like take the hat off me. However, if I go in a club femme, they might not. Another person asked, other than expression, do you snap between being a gentleman or being a person that gets the door held for them, like based on old-fashioned rules and all that kind of stuff? Like most men that I encounter seem to be more blunt with me and like, you know, when I'm being masc and with other guys, but it can be different when I'm not necessarily presenting as such. Sexism is definitely a thing. There is a difference between how I'm treated one way and the other, but it's all merged in with like me, you know, openly presenting queer. It's definitely an interesting one, and I'm going to pass over to feminine me to discuss what going out into public and what going out on a night out is really like when I'm feminine and passing as a woman. So I'm in a feminine look as I'm continuing this video. So I'm going to answer the questions that I just previously answered. When I'm looking like this, so when I'm in my more feminine looks, I definitely get treated differently. You know, it is kind of a cliche that I have like more doors opened for me in terms of like, guys will open doors for me or will be like, oh, sorry if they bump into me, whereas they're less likely to do that when I'm being masc. And like, I mean, obviously free drinks is a thing. You have to be careful about free drinks nowadays, but like you get offered a lot more of stuff like that, a lot more of people like just guys randomly hitting on you, which doesn't always happen when I'm being masc. It does sometimes, depending where I am. If I'm in a gay bar, maybe. It is sort of a bit of a different experience. And I mean, sometimes it's nice attention, sometimes it's negative attention. Like, you know, everyone likes to feel appreciated and like someone thinks they look nice, but at the same time, guys do it in a terrible way. Like I'll have someone sort of like, there's way more instances of someone like grabbing my ass, for example, on a dance floor, which is never acceptable. It's never chill. Or like, I'll be just trying to dance with friends and a guy will like sort of pull my arm and be like, oh, what's your name? And I'll just look at them and be like, and you think you're... And I think there's also a few times where obviously there's a big change when someone sees me like this compared to when someone sees me masc. I mean, people definitely stare a lot more often at me. I don't know why. And I definitely just get a lot more looks and things. And I don't know whether it's because they can tell that I have a slightly masculine face or what. But I usually pass quite well when feminine, so I don't know if it is that. And anyway, yeah, that's all I really have to say at the
moment about that particular side of it?
So back to Mask Me. When it comes to dating and stuff, there is like a very big difference. But also at the same time, some things are the exact same. So I'm pansexual, and obviously, as you guys know, I'm gender fluid. And so being a sort of pansexual, gender fluid person, dating itself is going to be a bit interesting anyway. There is the higher chance that I end up paying, and also, you know, being I mean, I try and strive to be a gentleman. I try and strive to be that, but at the same time, it does end up being like it seems like the person who ends up making the first move is the more, I guess, masculine one in the scenario. And so I always end up having to be the one to make the first, like, the big gesture or the first move or all this kind of stuff. Or I usually end up being the person to plan the dates. And I don't necessarily think that is just a, you know, me passing as a man thing necessarily, or if I've just been with people that haven't really been good at planning things for me, or, you know, wanting to take half and half of that role on. But it is kind of a bit more exhausting in terms of being the one that has to, you know, make the big gesture when I'm being masculine. And it's different though, because this is especially when I'm, you know, the more masculine one, when I'm on dates with people who are more, you know, feminine presenting or identifying. And it is not always, unfortunately, the case, different. And when it's with people who are more masculine, or when I'm, you know, going on dates with guys, when I'm masked like this, it's a bit more even, I'd say, and how I'm like treated when it comes to like other, you know, guys who are bisexual or queer that I'm going on a date with. You know what, it's very difficult to explain this, but I can explain it as to the difference of how I've felt when I'm interacted on dates and going out, and that kind of thing in my femme look. So pass back over to femme me.
It is sort of a bit of a different experience. And I mean, sometimes it's nice attention, sometimes it's negative attention.
And I think one of my issues I really kind of have is the dating thing, with me changing myself up so often, you know? I wouldn't necessarily say I'm just the quiet cutesy type as soon as I, you know, like, I'm not going into some stereotypical like feminine presentation, identity, and also becoming suddenly like the shy one. Like, that's not what I'm saying happens when, you know, I'm feeling femme and, you know, identifying and presenting myself that way. There for sure is a difficulty with dating and having the other person, someone that would actually, you know, finding someone that would actually like to have someone they're dating go from this to this. It's just a difficult one, especially the dating scene, but, you know, I'm figuring it out. And yeah, so there's been occasion, and this is a very, very rare occasion, where I have actually passed as a straight sort of lad guy, you know, in the pub. Before, I used to get my nails done, and before, I think there was a time when I was transitioning, when I was trying to just be that macho guy, and there's been occasion where I've gone out and I've kind of been able to look moderately like that macho guy, especially when I was like really working out and going to the gym and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Overcompensating for my gender fluidity before I came out as gender fluid.
There's a big difference as to like how I kind of hold myself. It's sort of like, I guess like when you're being femme, you walk more like boobs forward kind of thing. I'm much better with my posture, and I don't know why that is, but obviously my voice heightens slightly, and I'm a bit better with my posture, and just stuff like that. And yeah, I'm just a bit more confident, and yes, my personality does kind of change a bit. I'm a bit more confident, softer speaking. I know that's not about my personality, but I don't know. I do change a slight bit, but at the same time, I'm still the same kind of person. It's just different aspects of my personality come out when I'm like this. But yeah, if there's anything else that I've forgotten as I'm femme, I might add it in later. But that is all I have to say about that for now.
So when I'm masc, when it comes to my personality, does it change? Do I change who I am? I think I do a little bit, and I'm more like chill when I'm like this. So I'm definitely more like, what's up? How's it going? You know, yeah, I'm definitely more chill when I'm like this. And when I put on a full look, I seem to have a bit more like energy. That makes no sense, but I do change up how I speak a little bit. So I'll be speaking to you like this now, but when I'm feminine, I'll speak like a bit more higher, and I'll be like, hi, how's it going? You know, I speak a bit more pretentious, and I hate myself for it. But I do change my inflection a bit. I don't even realize I'm doing it sometimes. And sometimes I'll just chat deep like this. I don't mind, it doesn't make me feel dysphoric. But I mean, you can sort of see my voice inflection when we go back to femme. So I really want to do some voice training, but I think my voice, like, it's deep, but it's not so deep that it's like not manageable. So it'd be nice to be able to go, but I'm going to do a video about that in the future. One thing that's changed between the two me's is possibly my name. So my full name is, so my main name is like Tobias, because I really like that as a name. Like when I'm feeling really masculine, I just love it as a name, and everyone calls me Toby. And I know I went by the persona of Laddie for so long, and I did love that persona online, and feel free to still call me it. I don't mind, I get it in my comments sometimes, because it's, you know, but I think MX morphling, like mixed morphling makes way more sense to me. But also in my real life, when I'm feeling femme, I have a new name, which femme me will actually present to you now.
When it comes to the difference between like things that I wear, of course, like I wear different things. Today's outfit is much more feminine. I wear my breast forms. Yeah, it's just a sort of different scenario. I wouldn't say I prefer one or the other, just being gender fluid or like being androgynous in between. Like there isn't really one that I prefer. It's easier being masc because it's just more comfortable. The outfits are more comfortable. I've got to wear like this massive bra thing and these silicone like breast forms, and it's just a bit uncomfy, but you know, it is what it is. This makeup look, I did like this really cute style. Oh my gosh, a bit of my wig isn't my lips. I did this really cute style. I did some nice summer contour with some blush, this cutesy style makeup. And then I did a sort of like red, more rouge lip with like a deeper lip gloss because I thought it looked cute. If you guys want to see this kind of look tutorial, please let me know in the comments down below, and like, comment and subscribe, because I'll be happily doing more of these kind of feminizing makeup and also masculinizing makeup videos in the future.
I'm gonna jump in and talk about my androgynous looks. When I go from masc to femme, there's an occasional time where, like right now, I don't really know what I'm feeling, but I'm about to go into a femme look, so that is what it is. But there are some times when I just kind of, I'm feeling a bit in between, and my expression always shows that. I always mix a bit of, you know, makeup, and then occasionally I'll be feeling masc, and my identity will be masc, and I will still want to put, you know, makeup on. And there's some times where I feel a bit in between or neutral, or I don't feel like deciding gender that day, and that's totally chill. And when I go out like that, I don't really know what people think of me, but that's just where I'm openly presenting as queer, whether it be gender queer or like sexuality queer, and that's that main time when I'm, you know, feeling non-binary and identifying as non-binary is definitely where I get some issues with, you know, judgment from people, because it's way more obvious. So as a little summary, going into the pros of everything, pros and cons of everything, when I'm masc, you know, I definitely appear to get more respect from guys, like, and when I'm feminine, it changes, like, the way that guys treat me definitely changes. So I appear to get more respect from guys, and often I don't get like stopped on the street at a random time, you know what I mean? Like, the pros are that I don't really have to worry so much about walking back and stuff. And even though, yeah, I still have to worry about, you know, certain things, I don't have to worry too much about my safety in terms of, I was about to say getting spiked, but I have been spiked actually quite a lot, so never mind, even when I mask. But it's just a very interesting, different world out there. The cons are, like, you know, not being able to express yourself as easily, because a lot of the clothing options online are like, they're either really masc clothing, like half of ASOS, it's getting a bit better, but half of it, you have to really struggle to find stuff in the men's clothing section that really sort of helps you express yourself in a certain way. Whereas there's about 50 million better outfit choices for, like, on segments that call themselves women's segments of the clothing space. So, you know, it's way more difficult for me to express myself as I want to when I'm masked than, you know, when I'm in my femme identity. So at the moment, that's all I have to say. Femme Me is going to probably talk a lot more about the difference, because it's different. Obviously, before I transitioned, I passed as a woman for my entire life. So, like, up until I was like up until I was like 19, I passed as a woman. And it is very different, because when I pass now, I'm much bigger now. So, like, my body has, like, I've got broad shoulders, I've got more muscles, I've got like a bigger, more defined, as you can sort of see here, I've got like a larger, more defined jawline. Usually I shave my face and I pass when I, like, don't speak, but, like, when I do speak, and, like, you can just tell I'm more of an, you know, I'm less of a small being. The way that I'm reacted to, even when I'm being feminine, is I still have an essence of masculinity, which makes no sense. I'm sort of a feminine masculine mix of a person. And it's, yeah, it is an interesting one. And especially, there's so much more I could probably say in this video. And if I remember, when I'm recording my videos for Femme Me, I'll add any extra stuff in that I've forgotten. But I just thought it was a really interesting discussion to have. So thank you very much for watching this video. Goodbye from Masc Me.
And goodbye from Femme Me. Thank you so much for watching the video, and back to Masc Me and the outro.
And please like, comment and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.